What's up, guys? It's Marvel Noob here. This is my first video. This is April 2nd, 2018, day after Easter. And I've decided to make a comic book video. And this here is a Young Guns cover of Spider-Man 797. And I have a story about this. This is the first part of Go Down Swinging by Dan Slott. So I will get back to that later. But this video is going to be about my comic book collection so far. I've been reading since about January. A friend at work let me borrow a couple comics. One of them will be the first comic I show you. But after that, I pretty much went into the comic book store, and I haven't stopped since. Anyways, this is my Galactus and Silver Surfer box, and it says Galactic Diner. And the design is by Kuros Designs. Anyways, I got this at one of my local comic book stores called Battlegrounds. It's not my main comic book store, but they had these cool boxes, so I picked it up. It was about $15, I think. But anyways, in today's video, I'm gonna be going through what comics I have so far. I have about half this box filled up. I'm gonna go through my collection, and then after that, after I talk about those comics for a while, we're going to go through these solicitations and what I'm excited for coming up in Marvel Fresh Start, and what I'm not so excited for, and what I think as a new comic book reader coming in around the time of Legacy, and how that has been as a jumping on point for me. Anyways, let's get into the video, and we're going to start with a comic that you've probably read if you're into comics, if you're into anything DC. Most of my collection is Marvel. But this is actually, like I said before, the first book that my friend let me borrow. But it wasn't this edition. This is a second printing of Doomsday Clock. He had the cool lenticular cover, which has a picture of Rorschach's face, and it has like Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Batman logo in there. It was really cool, but I ended up with this one. This is a second printing of the first issue. And one thing I would say if you want to read this is go out. I went to my local pawn shop and I actually found a DVD of Watchmen. And I watched it and I loved it. And I watched it a couple times. And that pretty much told me everything I needed to know in order to read this. That's one thing that's kept me away from DC a lot, is I don't know anything about the characters. Like, I know that sounds crazy to some people, but I got into superheroes from Avengers and, you know, the Marvel MCU movies, like a lot of us did probably, but I really enjoyed it when he let me borrow it, and so I went back and got the other ones. So here's part 2 and part 3. I think part 2 and part 3 here are first prints, but yeah, that's the only DC I have. 3 issues of Doomsday Clock. Like I said, I would really recommend this to anyone who's seen Watchmen, or even to anyone who's wanting to get into comic books. Just pick up Watchmen and watch it. Or you can read the graphic novel. I haven't personally read the graphic novel, but from what I've heard, the only difference is in one of these books, it shows it for a sec. In one panel, a monster that was like unleashed on New York City. Well, in the movie, they just kind of blow up New York City. Spoilers. And then in the book, it's a monster that they unleash. So that's what I've heard is the only difference. But other than that, it's pretty easy to understand just after watching the movie. And yes, I do have the 4th issue is in my box at my other local comic book store. It's Fantasy Factory. That's one I go to most. It's sitting in my box waiting on me. So I'll go pick that up this comic book day. And anyways, that is it for DC. So, as I said before, most of my collection is Marvel. So, the way I got into Marvel was through Legacy. I started reading from Marvel Legacy, and I got, this is Marvel Legacy 1. This is just pretty much what I used as a jumping on point. And if you want to look in the back for just a second, you can see they have, oh, don't look at that, spoilers. They have like a checklist here, and then this is what I based some of my collection off of, just starting out. And yeah, so I got some of these books, but we'll get to them later. But anyways, I thought it was okay as a starting on point. It's by Jason Aaron, a writer I really enjoy. I love Thor. Thor's been one of my favorite books since I've started. And yeah, I did enjoy this. It was really good. But as a jumping on point, I say it's average. I don't know how Fresh Start's going to be for newcomers, but this is where I started. And from what I've heard from Secret Empire, I should be glad I missed that. Even though it sounds pretty cool to me, but it's got a lot of backlash from the community. So I started right here with Marvel Legacy 1. Anyways, let's move on to the next series. Alright, this next book I would recommend to anyone who likes anything with religious themes, or maybe a darker comic. Anyways, this is Spirits of Vengeance, Part 1, War at the Gates of Hell. And as you see, I paid $4.50 for this. I got these on back issue. I have the whole series 1 through 5. I really enjoyed it. It's got Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. This is a good introduction if you want to start reading about Johnny Blaze. I know the New Damnation has a Johnny Blaze tie-in that people are saying is really good. I haven't got it yet, but like I said, it's in my box at Fantasy Factory. I'll be picking that up this week also. It's got Blade in it, Damon Hellstorm, and what's her name? Helena or something like that. But these two are the children of Satan, and Blade. We all know Blade from the movies. He's a half vampire hunter. Anyways, I thought these were really good. Like I said, it's good for anybody who likes darker comics or just likes Ghost Rider. I pretty much just like Ghost Rider, so that's why I picked these up. I seen the Ghost Rider scroll. I was like, Ghost Rider and Legacy? Yes, please. So yeah, all these have $4.50 stickers except for this one. So I bought the whole series when issue 5 came out, and I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot, and it got me ready for Damnation. So if you're wanting to read Damnation, I would recommend this one. It's a good one to get you started on that. Alright, that's it for Spirits of Vengeance. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is a, some people would say it's from Spider-Man. It's a pretty big one as far as the Spider-Man side books go. Everyone knows about Venom. This is Lethal Protector Part 1. And I got this because I wanted to read Venom Inc. I wanted to get into Spider-Man, and Venom Inc. was part of what I made a collection list of. So I got into this one, Lethal Protector, and surprisingly I really enjoyed it. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. So basically, spoilers again, this is a story about there's like these dinosaur people, and they have some kind of connection with Alchemax or whatever. Like I said, I'm new. I'm still trying to learn all this stuff. And this guy, Craven, is like a master hunter basically, and he decides, well, he wants to go hunt these dinosaur people. So he goes down there, and Venom's protecting them. So he's like, okay, that's the prey I want right there. That's the what I want to hunt, is that Venom thing. That thing's crazy. So he goes after him, and it's a big battle, and all in all, I'd say it's pretty good. This one had a twist at the end that they set up in the first book, and I really enjoyed these more than I thought I would. I'd say they were good. And as far as getting you ready for Venom Inc., if you want to read Venom Inc., I would recommend these for that. And also, just if you want a fun story, you know, and it's Venom, like, you can't go wrong with Venom, I don't think, anyways. So, that's Venom. So, when I first walked into the comic book store my very first time, I said, I want to read Avengers. And, you know, now looking back, that was just kind of crazy, because, like, who's just going to pick up an Avengers book and know everything that's coming? But I thought, well, I've seen the movies, so surely I can just read Avengers. Well, the first comic I picked up when I went in there was Avengers No Surrender Part 1. So, like I said, I kind of went back and picked up Legacy 1. And after Legacy, and in between Legacy 1 and Avengers No Surrender Part 1, was another arc called Worlds Collide. So I got, this is Avengers 672, Worlds Collide Part 1. And I actually haven't even finished reading this one. I have most of the parts. I've read 4 parts of it. So it's a Champions crossover, and it kind of got me familiar with some of these characters. We've got let's put this back for a second. We've got Jane Foster, Thor, Falcon, Sam Wilson, Vision, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and then on the Champions team, we've got Amadeus Cho, Hulk, Vision, Miss Marvel, and Miles Morales, Spider-Man. So that got me kind of acquainted with them. But like I said, I still haven't even finished reading it. This one was my favorite issue of the 4 I've read so far. This is where they showed the High Evolutionary and kind of explained what's going on. And that's when I really started enjoying this book. Then here's the next part, Champions 14. And the next part is actually the one I'm missing. I'm missing 674 of Avengers. It's in my box at Fantasy Factory, so I'll have to pick that up. I have a lot of stuff in my box right now, so I'm kind of behind, but I'm getting there. So they told me they didn't have Champions 15 at Fantasy Factory, so I went and I decided to take a chance on this online comic book service, and it's called mycomicshop.com. And basically all I did was go on Google and typed buy comics online, and it was the first option. So I was kind of worried how the condition of the comics were going to be when I got them, but I was very pleased when they came in the mail, because as you see, they come labeled with bag and board, taped, and they're also taped to a piece of cardboard inside a very sturdy cardboard box. So if you're interested in buying comics online, they have a big selection of back issue that you can't really find a lot of places. You can get them there. So anything I can't really find at my local comic book store, from now on, I'm definitely going to be using mycomicshop.com. So, yeah, there's that. I actually haven't read this one yet because I'm waiting to get that Avengers 674. And even the Avengers 674 that I have in my box is a Phoenix variant. It's the only one they had left, so I said, you know, whatever, give it to me. So I don't care about Phoenix, really. I'm not into X-Men yet. Maybe one day. But as of right now, I just got the variant because I wanted to read the book. So that's in my box. So yeah, let's move on. The next book is everyone's favorite Friendly Neighborhood, The Amazing Spider-Man. This is Fall of Parker Part 1. And this is another book I got to kind of get me acquainted with where Spider-Man is for Venom Inc. And as far as that, I'd say this was a good book for getting me caught up to date, where, you know, Spider-Man's losing his big billion-dollar company or whatever it is, and, you know, everyone's kind of hating on Peter Parker right now. And so kind of what Spider-Man's doing is he kind of gets away when he becomes Spider-Man, because he doesn't have to be Peter Parker while he's Spider-Man. But that's kind of the gist of these. And this one is featuring Human Torch, I believe, from Fantastic Four. And yeah, I did enjoy these books. They kind of helped me get caught up to date. And also, first time I've seen Mockingbird, being a new comic book reader. So yeah, that's that. Let's move on to the next. Alright guys, I'm running out of space on my phone, so we're going to pick up on a part 2 of this. This has been Marvel Noob, and we'll see you guys next time.